Yeah.
Look at that.
I need to wake my ass up, Dom.
I got some water here. I can jump over here. No, there's no water.
Gloomy,
Good for you, John. Drink all your water.
schmoomy day. But it's Thursday. We're here Thursday morning to talk to you about FOC. It's a big FOC week, so we're going to jump right in, pay attention, take notes, get your papers out. What is that? Get out of there, fly.
Bug.
There's all these fruit flies zipping around the store, and it's driving me nuts because nobody here eats fruit.
Drink beer, though.
What's that?
They go after alcohol.
Yeah.
But there's no alcohol in
Yeah,
around
exactly. That's I don't know what's happening. Flyman is
Here. We all stink.
headquartered out of Holly.
We all
Yeah.
stink.
Pigpen. Okay. So, Final Order Cutoff is our last chance as a store to be able to adjust our numbers. Generally 3 to 4 weeks before the books actually ship out to us. So it's critical for you guys to pay attention to this stuff and let us know what you would like to order so that we can guarantee that we have copies for you, barring any mix-ups from Diamond, which there will always be. So it just helps us to firm up our ordering numbers to ensure that we're covering copies for you guys who say that you want to read these things or just collect them. I don't care. So the way it works, on Sunday and Monday, I sit down at the computer and I look through sales, and I look through how many shelf copies we put up, and then how many sold off the rack, and then I make a guesstimate as to how many to order for subsequent issues. And some of it's really important, like we're going to talk about number 2s, we're going to talk about second printings. A lot of times, if you guys buy copies of number 1, which is great, we love to sell number 1s, but if you don't let us know that you enjoyed it or would like to put number 2 on your subscription, then we cut our numbers for number 2s because we don't want to be stuck with books that we can't return or sell or any of that sort of thing. So that's why FOC is super critical. So we're going to do it in a couple of chunks. The DC stuff, if you haven't been paying attention, DC moved FOC to Sundays. So all the DC product we're going to talk about is on FOC Sunday, September 13th. Your requests are due to me by 11 a.m. on Sunday, September 13th. If you're coming into the store to make adjustments, we are going to have that in by Saturday night. So we've got a very, very high-tech system called a clipboard with a notepad that we write down all the DC and subscription changes with. That's up by the front counter. I come grab that Sunday night, and I sit down and I do all the FOC stuff Sunday night at home. So DC stuff is due Sunday, September 13th by 11. Everything else is on FOC Monday the 14th, and most of these titles, almost all of them, are in store on October 7th. So for everything else, let us know what you would like before 11 a.m. on Monday, September 14th. The way this goes, if you would like to subscribe to any of these titles so that the subsequent issues make their way into your hold slot, please comment subscribe with or sub with the title. If you would just like to pull a copy or multiple copies, if there's a cover that you really dig and you want 4 or 5 of them to give to your best friends or your wedding party, we can make that happen too. Just comment pull with the title, the cover, and the quantity, so that you can order. The sky's the limit as long as you let me know before I sit down to do my order either Sunday or Monday for everybody else. Okay? So from Dark Horse this week in stores on October 7th, we have Neil Gaiman's Norse Mythology #1. New York Times best-selling author Neil Gaiman and Eisner Award-winning comic legend P. Craig Russell breathe new life into the ancient Norse stories by taking readers through the creation of the 9 worlds to the epic origin of the adventures of Thor, Odin, and Loki, all the way to the end of life at Ragnarok. Having previously written about the deities and American gods and the Sandman, Gaiman teams with Russell to finally bring readers to follow the northern gods in their own setting in this comic book adaptation of his hit novel. Main cover on my side is by P. Craig Russell. Look at all those names that are on that bottom of that book, though. You got Mike Mignola, you've got Jerry Ordway, you've got Dave Stewart doing colors. I don't know who Laverne Kidznerski and Galen Showman are, but they're on this book too. So a huge creative team on Norse mythology. The variant cover on Dom's side is by the one and only Mr. David Mack. Return of the Mac. From DC this week, in stores on October 7th. God, this has been a long time coming, kids. We have American Vampire 1976, #1 of 9. This was supposed to come out like 3 years ago. So thanks Scott Snyder and Raphael Albuquerque for getting it done.
Like, oh, look at this. We had this laying around. Let's finish this.
Well, part of it was all the American Vampire stuff was originally published on Vertigo, and Vertigo is no longer around. So if you look at the corner, this is technically a DC Black Label book. So that's pretty interesting. But if you haven't checked out American Vampire, I highly suggest doing so. It is a killer read. This is the finale of Snyder and Albuquerque's run on American Vampire. America is broken, trust between the government and the American public has crumbled, paranoia reigns supreme. It's 1976, and this is the concluding chapter of the Eisner Award-winning American Vampire. Skinner Sweet has exhausted all efforts to regain his lost immortality. With his powers and purpose gone, he is now determined to go out with a bang. At a seedy motorcycle rally in the desert where he is closer than ever to his death wish, Pearl Jones and a shocking partner tracks him down for one last desperate mission. The force known as the Grey Trader and its minions are tunneling through the bowels of the world to unleash hell on Earth just in time for America's bicentennial. With catastrophe looming, it's up to Skinner and Pearl to reconcile and change the course of history or die trying. The series that launched the careers of superstars Scott Snyder and Raphael Albuquerque returns for 9 final issues and the closing chapter of the legacy of American Vampire. Cover A, which is the only one that we have available right now, is by Mr. Albuquerque. Cover B is by Dustin Nguyen, and I'm sure that will be spectacular. Cover C is a blank cover, so 3 options for American Vampire 1976, numero uno. Okay? Next from DC this week comes the monumental Batman #100. The Joker War comes to a city-shattering conclusion as Batman battles the Joker in a brutal, no-holds-barred duel. This is a fight 80 years in the making, and its outcome won't just change Batman's life, it will change Gotham City for years to come. Plus, catch the first glimpse of the new villain known as Ghostmaker. So we got a first appearance in Batman 100 as well. And after the senses-shattering conclusion of the Joker War come a pair of short stories that will chart what's to come in Gotham City and in the Batman title. Don't miss the first showdown between Batman and Clown Hunter. The main cover, which is right there, is a wraparound cover by Jorge Jimenez. It's going to be an oversized book, so it's going to have a cover price of $6.99. The variant cover on Dom's side is by Francesco Mattina. It is cardstock variant, so it's $1 more at $7.99. There will also be a purple blank cover, which I don't have an image of, that is $6.99. So 3 cover options for Batman #100. Jorge Jimenez, cover A right there. Mattina, cover B, and a purple blank cover, cover C. It's pretty cool.
The wraparound's pretty cool.
DC sent us an advanced PDF of both that book and another book we're going to talk about. I haven't had a chance to read them. I got to do that before Sunday. Keith up at I Want More Comics read it, and he said that it is spectacular. Tynion's killing it right now, so take that for what it's worth. Next from DC in stores on October 14th, we have their quarterly, or I don't know how often these things come out. Their seasonal $10 anthology book. This one, of course, is their horror book just in time for Halloween. It is called The Doomed and the Damned #1, with an awesome cover by Kyle Hotz right there. It was a dark and stormy night when the creatures of the DC Universe began to emerge from their lairs into the cool evening air. Tales of the macabre, the murderous, and the morbid abound in this spine-chilling special about monsters and mayhem. What happens when Batman encounters a true urban legend after speaking its name 3 times in a mirror? Or when Madame Xanadu enlists the help of Man-Bat to take down a shadowy specter? And who can stop an intergalactic demon from turning people into frog beasts? Only the unlikely team-up of Green Lantern and Etrigan. All this and 7 more fantastic tales to trick your treats and bob your apples.
time for Halloween.
$9.99, just in time for Halloween. Main cover by Kyle Hotz. Yeah, if you would like to order this, please let us know by Sunday so we can set a copy aside for you. They're always fun. And we got a second one. Next from DC in stores on October 7th is Legend of the Swamp Thing Halloween Spectacular #1, also just a one-shot. It's Halloween, and DC invites you to welcome Swamp Thing to your witching hour festivities. In this 48-page collection of all-new stories, the Guardian of the Green reveals past lives and the unforgettable horrors that befall those who cross his path. From ancient Rome to present day, Swamp Thing stalks these ghostly and ghastly tales, all of which are best read by the light of a jack-o'-lantern. This one is $5.99 with a cover right there by Mike Perkins. Also just a one-shot. So again, let us know before Sunday if you would like to order that. Here's the big one, kids. From DC in stores on October 14th, it is finally here. We have Rorschach #1 of 12. It's been 35 years since Ozymandias dropped a giant interdimensional squid on New York City, killing thousands and destroying the public's trust in heroes once and for all. And since that time, one figure in a fedora, mask, and trench coat has become a divisive culture icon. So what does it mean when Rorschach reappears as an assassin trying to kill a candidate running against President Robert Redford? Who is the man behind the mask, and why is he acting this way? It's up to one detective to uncover the true identity of this would-be killer, and it will take him into a web of conspiracies involving alien invasions, disgraced do-gooders, mystic visions, and yes, comic books. Writer Tom King joins forces with artist Jorge Fornes for a new 12-issue miniseries that explores the mythic qualities of one of the most compelling characters from the best-selling graphic novel of all time, Watchmen. Main cover right there is by Jorge Fornes. The variant cover on Dom's side is by Jay Lee. There is also a blank cover that will be available for Rorschach #1, part of DC's Black Label, with a cover price of $4.99. He's lifting Dr. Manhattan dumbbells on the Jay Lee cover, which is freaking awesome. So this is a big deal. If you guys were on, well, what I'll probably do is I'll look at people who are subbed to Doomsday Clock and probably subscribe those people to Rorschach unless you don't want to. But please let us know, again, by Sunday. 12-issue miniseries, Tom King, Jorge Fornes, Rorschach #1. Lastly, from DC, we've got a really cool facsimile edition just in time for the movie coming out. Reprinting Wonder Woman #1 from 1987. In the wake of the Crisis on Infinite Earth, superstar artist George Perez began his run on Wonder Woman with a modernized retelling of her origin story, from her creation on Themyscira to Ares' attack on man's world. $3.99 for this facsimile edition, same as the original front to back. More expensive, but I mean, that's a $20 book, so it's a good way to read, to jump in and read the story of Wonder Woman. From IDW this week, how about this crossover, kids? Transformers Back to the Future #1 of 4, a DeLorean that transforms. His name is Gigawatt. I say gigawatts because that's what Professor Emmett Brown says in the movies, but it's spelled gigawatt with a G. It's like GIF versus GIF. You know what I mean?
I like Gigawatt.
I like Gigawatt. Great Scott Marty McFly has just returned from the adventure of a lifetime to a new, better Hill Valley. Everything's looking up for him, that is, until Marty and his friend Doc Brown's time machine attracts the attention of the Decepticons. With one small mistake, Marty finds himself once again thrust into adventure to stop the Decepticon plot in the past, present, and future, all with the help of a new time machine, the Autobot Gigawatt. That sounds awesome.
Pretty cool.
There's 2 covers available, but I only have one at the time that I typed this up last night. So the main cover right there is by Juan Samu, who is the interior artist on the series. There's also a variant cover by Phil Murphy. So Transformers Back to the Future. That's a pretty cool 4-issue miniseries. Gigawatt. From Image this week, we have Getting It Together, #1 of 4. It's something that I need to do, probably everybody needs to do, is get their shit together. Newcomer artist Jenny D. Fine shines alongside Marvel Comics Iceman writer Cinna Grace and co-creator Omar Spahi in the all-new modern dramedy you didn't know you needed. Sam and Jack are best friends, and Sam is dating Lauren, Jack's indie rocker sister and roommate. When Sam and Lauren open up their long-term relationship, skyrocketing tensions send social shockwaves through their friend group and the entire Bay Area. And Jack, caught in the middle of it all, may be forced to take sides in a conflict he never wanted to be part of. Life gets pretty messy when you're in your 20s and your friends are your family. Getting It Together, #1 of 4.
Sounds like a comic book soap opera.
Yeah, it's like a weird rendition of Friends.
Yes.
They even have umbrellas on the cover.
It's true.
Weird.
They'll be there for you.
Yeah. From Image, here's a big one, kids. Walking Dead Deluxe #1 is on FOC and in stores on October 7th. If you aren't familiar with what's going on with Walking Dead Deluxe, Robert Kirkman has been having Dave McCaig work on coloring The Walking Dead. As you know, Walking Dead has always been published as a black and white comic book. He told us this last year at the San Diego Comic-Con Image Skybound Retailer Brunch, that he was almost halfway through the series having it colored by Dave McCaig, that they were going to announce this. And boom, here it is, kids. Walking Dead Deluxe #1. Read it again. It's time to revisit the historic independent series that took the entertainment world by storm 17 years ago. Follow Rick Grimes' journey again from the very beginning, but this time in stunning full color by the masterful Dave McCaig. This deluxe version will feature a memorable array of variant covers commemorating major character introductions and the series' most memorable twists and turns. Each issue will include a new installment of The Cutting Room Floor, featuring Robert Kirkman's original handwritten plots along with commentary on abandoned storylines and things that may have changed along the way. So that's kind of cool. You're getting a little extra out of it. The deluxe definitive presentation of the story in full color will not be collected anytime soon. That means you can't wait for trade paperbacks of this stuff. So these single issues will be the only way to experience this. For now.
I like this A cover, man.
The main cover, the A cover right there, is by David Finch, and it is fantastic. The B cover on Dom's side kind of features a recolored original Tony Moore cover. Cover C, okay, so what they're doing with cover C is going to be a Charlie Adler connecting cover. So I put right here all 6 of the first 6 issues that connect to make a big panoramic scene. And then down below right here is #1 with a Charlie Adler cover. So you can see how that plays into the 6-issue connecting set up at the top. So cover C, Charlie Adler connecting cover. Cover D on Dom's side is Julian Totino Tedesco featuring the bicycle zombie, which is still creepy as hell. Cover D down here on my side is the Art Adams variant cover. And finally, last but not least, we have the blank cover over there on Dom's side. So Walking Dead Deluxe. Only issue #1 is going to have 6 covers. I want to say #2 and on are going to have, I think, 3 covers per issue. So if you want the Charlie Adler connecting cover, let us know. If you want the main cover, let us know. But again, orders are due for this on Monday at 11 o'clock in the morning. Okay? All right. From Marvel this week, we have Champions #1. They're rebooting Champions again, but that's okay because it's a story about kids fighting the power. The Champions return in troubled times. A law is passed that goes against everything Ms. Marvel, Nova, and Spider-Man founded the Champions for. But the world still needs heroes, even if the world doesn't want them right now. After Ms. Marvel makes an unexpected and emotional announcement that her team won't go down without a fight, a group of teen vigilantes gathers to plan their next move, but the Cradle Task Force is hot on their trail, and there's a spy in their midst. Eve Ewing from Ironheart and Outlawed, and Simone DeMio from Immortal Hulk Best Defense and Venom Acts of Evil, also on Seven Secrets, I think, maybe, or We Only Find Them When They're Dead. I can't remember which one. Team up for a dramatic new era of champions that will define Marvel's teen heroes for years to come. There are 4 open-to-order covers. We have 3 of those right now. So the main cover right there is by Tony Infanti. We don't have the Ron Lim variant. We wasn't ready when I typed this up last night. The Carrie Andrews zombie variant is the one that's over there on Dom's side with all the hands popping up out of the ground. Then we have the Simone DeMio variant, which is right here, featuring Nova and the rest of the crew. So Champions number 1, $3.99. Next from Marvel this week, we've got Spider-Man Marvel's Snapshot number 1. Just like all of the other snapshots, this is just a one-shot. Let's say you're a low-life criminal in Manhattan just trying to get by in a world that's recently gotten full of Spider-Men, Daredevils, Power Men, and more, and you just want to make a decent illegal living. Plenty of henchman work available if you don't mind ending up in Traction. And oh yeah, there's a brewing supervillain gang war building. What do? Keep your head low or go for the big win. Superstar storyteller Howard Chaykin takes you through Marvel's mean streets. Just watch out for Spider-Man, Cloak and Dagger, and more. The main cover right there is by Alex Ross. There is also a Howard Chaykin variant that was not available when we typed this up last night. He's got his lats.
Like you,
yeah.
You're there flexing. Putting away comics.
Hug the wall. Okay, next I wanted to point out a couple of big things that are Donny Cates related. From Marvel, we've got Thor number 8. I don't need to tell you about Thor anymore. I think we've got everybody on. But if you're late to the party, here you go. Here's a great chance. You get a Mjolnir, and you get a Mjolnir, and you get a Mjolnir. Everyone gets a hammer. That's right. Come on down to Broxton, Oklahoma. Pick up Mjolnir for yourself. The famed hammer of the Thunder God is free for the taking. No worthiness required. Main cover by Oliver Coipel. There is an Alex Ross Timeless variant that's over there on Dom's side. There is also an Oliver Coipel Fortnite variant that we don't have the image to, but if you've been paying attention to last week's show, you know that Fantastic Four 24 is going to produce a story that occurs during Thor number 4 and was the basis for the Marvel skins in Fortnite, I guess, something like that. So there's an Oliver Coipel Fortnite variant that we don't have the image to. There's also a Lionel Francis Yu Frankenstein's Thor horror variant that I don't have an image to. So there's 2 covers for Thor number 8 that we don't have images for, but just keep that in your noggin and pay attention, okay? Next from Marvel comes Venom 29, also with the Donny Cates heat. Venom Beyond continues. Eddie Brock and his son Dylan are trapped in an unfamiliar world, but if there was one thing Eddie's good at, it's making friends, right? Main cover by Ryan Stegman. Also, Fortnite variant on Dom's side by Aaron Cooter, and we do have the image for that one. There you go. Going after the Llama Pinata. So that's it from Marvel. From AWA this week, we have a new book called American Ronin, number 1 of 5. 5-issue miniseries. War is over, democracy is an illusion, real power now lies not within nation states, but huge corporations engaged in a silent war for global domination. That sounds a little like Lazarus. Their number 1 weapon, highly skilled, technologically enhanced operatives, trained since childhood to pledge their allegiance to the corporate flag. Even more like the book Lazarus. But what happens when one such operative breaks free of his mental chains and decides to bring the whole system down? Can one Ronin make a difference? Written by Peter Milligan with art and cover by ACO, and a wraparound variant cover by Mike Diodato. So the main cover right there on my side, wraparound cover up there by Dom. American Ronin, number 1 of 5. It does sound good, so check that out.
Sounds like a movie waiting to happen.
Exactly. Our friends at I Want More Comics and Cover Alpha Comics are going to have a store exclusive for American Ronin number 1, so make sure you check that out. From Vault this week comes Devil's Red Bride number 1. This one sounds awesome. 16th century Japan. The fates of warlords ebb and flow like tides of blood. None more than the Aragami clan, who follow their lord clad in the Red Devil mask into every battle. But when Lord Aragami succumbs to illness, his daughter, the fierce Ketsuko, hatches a plot to save her people no matter the cost. Years later, as Ketsuko wanders the heaving battlefields of her ruined homeland, she discovers a chance to avenge the terrible wrong done to her clan, even if it means stepping back onto a road steeped in slaughter. That sounds rad. From writer Sebastian Gerner from Shirtless Bear Fighter, Scales and Scoundrels, and artist John Bivens from Creature Feature and Spread, comes a blood-drenched love letter to samurai fiction in a chilling tale of guilt, trauma, and vengeance. Main cover on my side is by John Bivens. The B cover on Dom's side is by Nathan Gooden. It is fantastic. And the C cover down here below is also by Nathan Gooden. The Devil's Red Bride, #1 from the folks at Vault. Finally, from Zenoscope this week, we've got Tales of Terror Quarterly 2020 Halloween Special #1 one-shot. That's a lot of words for one comic book. You have never seen a Tales of Terror Halloween special like this. Presenting for the first time in the new quarterly format with 72 pages of pulse-pounding horror, join Kerez, the goddess of death, as she brings her own brand of punishment and justice to those unlucky enough to be worthy of her wrath. Don't miss these new Tales of Terror just in time for the horror season. So we have 3 different covers. None of those covers had artist names attached to them.
I need a cover B.
A cover B?
Holy shit.
Yeah, cover B is really good. Cover C is really good. They're all really good. So A up there at the top with the lady playing cards and the tarot and the ravens and the crystal ball and the scythe. Cover B, sexy time lady with the werewolf in the background. And cover D, sad crying lady in the cemetery with skulls on. They're all 3 awesome. They are $7.99, so they're $8.99. So they are $9 for any of the Tales of Terror Quarterly 2020 Halloween specials.
No artists attached.
No artist
Those
names
are
attached.
Fantastic.
Yep.
I haven't seen a really good Zenoscope in a while.
There's a couple of them there for you.
Yep.
Okay, that brings us to the subsequent print speculation section, brought to you by Mr. Oscar Cassis.
Hey, bro. Are you the second prince?
Perfect.
Dave Chappelle imitation.
Yeah, right. This is a little segment where we highlight some of the comics that have subsequent printings available at FOC. Second plus prints are generally smaller print runs than the firsts, and lately have been commanding higher market prices at release date. So here is your chance to make sure you get them for cover price plus a discount if you've got a hold slot. First up, from DC, Batman 3 Jokers #1 has sold out and is going to a second printing. There you can see Shark Hand Joker, which is the Jason Fabok second print variant cover. Still $6.99. Pretty cool.
I love Faybox stuff.
If Batman's got his bat shark repellent, though, he's okay. From Marvel, we just talked about this issue a second ago. It was on FOC last week. Fantastic Four #24 is getting a second print. You can see the banner up at the top there. You've got the Fortnite X Marvel crossover. There's a bonus story included called Nexus War Thor that is written by Donny Cates with art by Greg Land. So that's why this thing is a big deal. If you're on Thor, we ordered a copy of the main cover for you so that you have that piece of the Donny Cates puzzle. The Art Adams variant here is no slouch with the second print of Fantastic Four #24. Then we've got, I don't have images for them, but right here, you've got Fantastic Four Antithesis #1. The Neil Adams book is getting a second print. Immortal Hulk 35 is getting a third print. Venom 27 is getting a third print. And Web of Venom Wraith #1 that just came out yesterday is also getting a second print. So those are all on FOC on Monday. And that brings us to our last segment, the Who Does #2 Work For segment.
Who does #2 work for? Who does
Look on his
#2
face.
work
Yeah.
for?
That's right, buddy. You show that turd who's boss.
There we go.
So this is the #2 segment that we talk about. We mentioned earlier that #2s are generally always under ordered. So here's your chance. We spotlight some of the things that you should pay attention to. Some of them are very big deals. So look here, look here, look here, look here. Get your orders in. From Aftershock, we've got Lonely Receiver #2. #1 came out last week. As she reels from a breakup with her phone, Katrin's life spins out of control. Everything about her existence was connected to her partner. Now she has no money, no ID, and no way to engage with the world. She's drifting alone in a sea of connection except for the pair of disembodied eyes watching her. Eyes without a face. Set in the near future, drenched in pastels and sunshine, Lonely Receiver is a horror breakup story in 5 parts. Written by Zach Thompson and illustrated in color by Jen Hickman. So number 2 on FOC on Monday. From Boom this week, one of my favorites in a long time. We only find them... What's that?
I still gotta look through this.
Yeah. We only find them when they're dead. Number 2 is on FOC on Monday. Captain Malik and the crew of the Vihan 2 escape from their tyrannical government and chart a course straight to the first living god they can find. But the only thing more dangerous than what lies ahead of them is who follows behind them. Cover A is by Simone DeMio, who's the interior artist on the series. Cover B featuring the government enforcer that showed up at the end of issue number 1.
Is that a bullet in her head?
I don't know what that is coming out of her head. I think it's just smoke from the gun, maybe, trailing behind her.
No, that thing on her...
Oh, that's her... I don't know if it's a comm thing. I don't know what it
I was
is.
wondering if it was a comm thing or
Some
a
kind of
bullet.
implant. The cover B right there is by Tony Infante. So if you picked up number 1 last week and read it and enjoyed it, make sure you add it to your
John
subscription.
loves this
It's
book.
so good.
He loves this.
I'm in for where this thing goes. From Dark Horse, Cyberpunk 2077 Trauma Team number 2. Number 1 just came out yesterday. Is on FOC on Monday. Nadia's first mission since the massacre of her previous trauma team is attempting to save Apex, the man who killed them. To make matters worse, Nadia suffers through guilt, shock, and old memories as her and her team are 100 floors high in a skyscraper filled with gang members who want to take Apex down. That doesn't sound like a good day. So Cyberpunk 2077 Trauma Team number 2 of 4 is on FOC. Also from Dark Horse, also just came out last week, I believe. Orville Launch Day number 2 is on Cutoff. With Bortus on the bridge facing a standoff with the Krill, Gordon and John secreted aboard a moon-sized space station searching for clues about its seemingly sinister purpose. And Ed and Kelly on the planet's surface investigating the impending launch day. Time is about to run out for everyone in this system, including the Orville. Orville Launch Day number 2 on Cutoff this Monday. Lastly, from Dark Horse, we've got Spy Island number 2 of 4. Super Agent Nora Freud is fine, thank you. Yes, she's stuck on an island in the Bermuda Triangle without a clear mission. She's running low on sunscreen. Her sister has just arrived, and the body of a man Nora recently assassinated just floated in with the tide. But she has this totally under control. Spy Island is a 4-issue special limited series by the creative team that brought you Man-Eaters. Cover A and B right there are both by Leah Minternique, who is the interior
You won't be
artist.
getting the big cover.
Nope, not at all. That is a hard pass. From Image this week, we literally just got our copies in yesterday. So if you came in looking for Inkblot number 1, they showed up yesterday. They're all set aside in people's boxes for those that requested it. I apologize, but they all came in with huge corner damages when we got them from Diamond a couple weeks ago. So this is Inkblot number 2. After vanishing from the Seeker's library in the Living Castle, the magical cat wanders deeper into the forest lands and finds a clan of elves. Something lurks in the haunted cave nearby, and the elves must go to investigate with the help of their new kitty companion. From the Kuberts, we got Emma Kubert and Rusty Glad that are writing and drawing this one together.
Do we ever find out if this is one of the family, the Kubert family?
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's the daughter of Andy or Adam, but I don't know which one. I have to look it up. But there you go. Inkblot number 2 is on FOC on Monday. From Marvel, here's another one that just came out. I think it was last week, right? Maybe. Yes. Black Widow number 2, Widow No More. Something is very wrong with Natasha Romanoff. She's happy. Retirement definitely agrees with the world's deadliest woman as she revels in the perfect life she never even dreamed she could have. But scratch the surface of that perfect life and you'll find something very wrong. And a woman like Nat just can't help but scratch. We got a main cover by Adam Hughes. We got an Alex Ross Timeless variant over there on Dom's side. Down here we've got Mattia de Illus variant cover. There's a game variant cover that we don't have an image for. There is the J. Scott Campbell variant over there on Dom's side, which is a mirror image of the one that he did for issue number 1.
Change the hair color.
Yeah. And then we have the Swabby Tomb Horror variant. The guy who drew that cover right there, his last name is Swabby. I don't remember what his first name is, but there you go. That is the Tomb Horror variant for Black Widow number 2. She's looking a little like Vampirella up there on top of that thing. I don't know if that's supposed to be Bucky down below.
I think that's Bucky.
He's got a stake. He's going to stake Nat. That's not good for anybody. No. Next from Marvel, we've got Rise of Ultraman number 2. This one just came out this week. The histories of two worlds, the experiences of two lives, and the destinies of two heroes must reconcile as Ultra and Man struggle to become one. And if they don't, neither will survive. And as Shin fights for his life, Kiki searches for a way to save him. A search that will bring her one step closer to the dark secret of 1966.
Why did he hang it up?
Yeah, right? Main cover right there is by Jorge Molina. There's an art germ variant that I don't have an image for.
Of course.
Bum, 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 wah.
Stay tuned.
And the variant cover over there on Dom's side is by Masayuki Goto, and it is pretty awesome. So 3 covers for Rise of Ultraman number 2.
We'll look for Rise of Ultraman
today when we do the thing to see if we've got an art germ image update
Yep.
there. From Titan this week, Doctor Who Time Lord Victorious number 2 hits the FOC cycle. A thrilling new adventure for the 10th Doctor is played by fan favorite David Tennant that sees the shocking return of his deadliest enemies, the Deluxe. But things aren't what they seem. Time is all wrong and something is coming that terrifies even the Deluxe. Part of BBC's highly anticipated multi-platform Doctor Who epic Time Lord Victorious. Main cover on my side is by Andy Tong. The photo cover on Dom's side is cover B. And cover C down below here is by Alan Qua, who's been killing it on Nightwing variants for a while. So Doctor Who Time Lord Victorious.
Those stupid things still creep me out.
Do they?
Doctor Who has the most low-tech stuff.
Yeah.
And they have the creepiest things like weeping angels, and then these stupid things have been haunting me since I was a kid.
That's funny. From Vault this week, Heavy number 2 is on FOC, which sucks because number 1 I think comes out next week, so we won't have any sales data for number 2. But this is written by Max Bemis of the band Say Anything. Saddled with the worst possible partner for potentially all of eternity, Bill must decide whether he can give his greatest enemy a clean slate and earn his own fresh start beyond the big weight. A hard decision to make while you're jumping through time and space, knocking out teeth. Main cover by Eric Donovan, which is right there on my side. The variant cover, which is like a negative version of that, is by Tim Daniel. Heavy is the story of it's kind of like R.I.P.D. about a group of people that police the afterlife. Some good, some bad. Much mayhem ensues. Like Punisher meets I don't know what. So Heavy number 2. And that wraps the show, kids. The last thing that we bring you is the massive list of all of the stuff that is on FOC this coming Monday and Sunday if you're DC. The DC stuff, we don't have any item codes. You just have to Google all of some of those things to see images for that sort of stuff. Then we get down to everybody else, not including DC, and everything's going to have an item code over there on the left-hand side that you can copy and paste into any web browser of your choice. The very first search result that's going to come up is going to be the previewsworld.com listing for that item, where hopefully we'll have an image of Rise of Ultraman art germ.
It's under Rise?
Yeah, it's under Rise. It's the second one.
There we go, Rise of Art Germ. All right, we're going to go ahead and do that.
So you copy that item code, that diamond.
And so this is the one here. We're going to copy it, Control-C, the web browser.
Paste that sucker.
Paste that sucker in, Control-V, and enter. Here we go.
There you go. Let's see. Cross our fingers.
No
image coming soon.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah. But that's how it works, kids. You can use that entire list at your leisure from now until Sunday or Monday at the latest to go through and create a list of books that you would like us to order for you. We would be happy to do so as long as you get those orders into us on time. So 11 a.m. Sunday for your DC books, 11 a.m. on Monday for everybody else. If you have questions, feel free to reach out to us. We can walk you through the process. We can do special orders and stuff for you. But that's kind of it. That's how it works. Okay? I am John.
I'm Dom.
Stay tuned. We'll be on tonight from 5 to 7 for our Thursday night stream sale. Killing it. We'll have a bunch of trades, a bunch of books. It's going to be a fun time. So don't go. Go somewhere until 5, and then come back and join us for the show. Thanks, guys. We'll see you this weekend.
Have a good morning.